Hi, I'm Carrie and welcome to my channel. Today is my monthly wrap up. This is where I talk about everything that's been going on in my practice in the month of January. The decks that I've used, practices that I've done, how I've used my decks, and anything else that I choose to share. I didn't realize it's been 2 months since I've done a monthly wrap up. Yeah, when I looked back, October, I think, was the last one. I don't know why I missed doing one for November, but here we are in a new year and a new start. I'll just say that. I want to say a big welcome to all my new subscribers. I'm so happy to have you here. I hope you enjoy my content, and thanks so much for watching. I also want to say thanks to all of you that watched my tarot reset series. I got some really good tips or ideas from some of the comments that were on the videos of pairings to do with some of the decks or other things to do, with some of the decks. So thanks for all your great suggestions that you gave me during that series and for watching. So as far as anything personal goes in the month of January, my area is part of that huge snowmageddon, that cold snap that came through the US. We got right under a foot of snow. It's a lot. It's a lot of snow, and it's been so bitter cold. I am so over winter. I am ready for summer and spring. Skip spring. Let's just go right to the heat of summer. So, yeah, if you are also in that cold snap and had all that snow dumped on you, how are you surviving? Because I know a lot of people, we were very fortunate. We did not lose power in our area, but we did not have the amount of ice and everything that some of the other areas receive. So let me know if you were part of that. And I hope everything is well and that you're staying warm. January was my birthday month. So I did purchase a deck for myself, but I only purchased one deck for myself for my birthday. And the deck I bought is the Craft Felt Tarot by Gianna. Is it Lucci? For the past couple years, I have been trying to treat myself for my birthday and purchase an indie deck. This one just happened to go on sale. So I purchased this and I've no regrets. I think this deck is so cute. This deck for me is just full of happiness. That's how I feel when I look at this. I thought it was so creative. When this first came out, I saw everybody showing it and sharing it, and I just thought it was really, really creative, where she put all these felt pieces together and made these RWS images here. I just love it. Went to shuffle it. I think it was my second shuffle, and I bent the full card in half. And I don't know if it's showing on camera or not. Right here, it is creased all the way across. I ran this like back and forth along the edge of a table to try to smooth that down a little bit. And I was devastated. I was so devastated. I wanted to cry because I hadn't even read with the deck yet. I still haven't read with the deck yet. I could not believe I did that. I've never creased a card ever when shuffling. So I just happened to post this on my birthday on Instagram and share what happened. I just know like how devastated I was that I bent the card in half. And someone told me to reach out to the creator to see if they sold replacement cards, because I never thought about doing that. And because it was my own stupid mistake. I'm the one that did it. They encouraged me to reach out to Gianna, and I did. And she was very nice and said, yes, I can send you a new one. And I just had to pay to have her ship it to me. It has not arrived yet. So I'm excited about the replay. I even bent it here in the corner. I'm excited about the replacement card coming. And then this deck will feel right. But I'm going to use this as like a bookmark or something once the new card comes in. Now, I'm kind of following Tammy Pie's lead where she started like a little box where she has put like certain decks in. So when she feels like wanting a new deck, reading with a new deck, or something like that that's not in her collection, she's going to go to the box that she created and pull a deck out of that. So decks that I got in at the very tail end of December are all in a separate box. And I'm going to move this over there too, to help me with my low buy year that I'm doing. And then when I'm feeling the need to, purchase something or whatever, I will pull out, I think there's only like 4 decks over there right now. So I will pull out one of those decks to use and see how that works for me. Oh, there is one other thing I'm going to mention. I did not get this for my birthday. This came in actually in December. I've talked about charms and that sort of thing on my channel before. I love reading with charms. And over a year ago, I saw Bohemian Rose Tarot talk about using Scrabble tiles in her readings. And I thought that was such a cool idea since I already cast charms and everything anyway. So I bought myself a couple bags of Scrabble tiles and tried to pull out a nice mixture of tiles. And I've done that. And if you've never done that, it's really cool because you make the word by what's there on the table, and it always fits the reading. At least it does for me. But anyway, I was scrolling online and I found the crossword solitaire game, 12 dice, serious fun. I think they have a 15 dice one too. This is also off of Amazon. And I've been using this to bring an extra layer into my readings. So you would just roll the dice. I don't use all 12. I might pull out 6 of them or just like 5 of them. Here's 6. We'll take the Z out and put the D here. So like bad stuck out to me right away. Mad is another, or made. We have made right there. There's dead also. So it's like, but I usually go by, whenever I do it, I go by the first 1 or 2 words that I see. And it's not like I sit there and try to think through every word that could be made from this. And then like I said, it always seems to add that extra layer into the reading. And I have to say, I like this better than pulling the Scrabble tiles out. I like the tactile of like the dice for this also. Again, here is the front of it if you want to search it up on Amazon. And this has been really fun. And I've been adding these into my readings. I think I even showed an image on Instagram where I used this and added it into my readings. So this sits out right here on my table. And one other thing before I move on to showing my journal and the cards in that I used is I want to give a shout out to Dark Fae Tarot. So Dark Fae Tarot, if you happen to be new, she has a Tarot Tube channel here. She's had one for quite some time, and I've followed her ever since I found Tarot Tube, or right after I found Tarot Tube, I discovered her channel. I really love her tarot channel, but what I'm shouting her out for is she started an astrology channel. So it's Dark Fae Astrology. I am going to link that channel in the description box below. Now, I've said many times on here, I have tried to do or learn astrology, I'll say, and I always get overwhelmed by it. I think she has a very easy and understandable approach to things. And I was able to take like little notes about stuff. And she walked through Neptune for each of the signs. So be sure to go check out her channel and give it some love, because I really like Dark Fae Tarot. Well, Dark Fae Astrology. So be sure to go check her out. And let's talk about my practice now. So I showed my journal when I did my practices I'm keeping and, moving on and all of that stuff I did at the end of December. But some of the pages weren't filled in because I hadn't had a chance to do them. It wasn't that time yet. So all of my omens now are filled in. I will revisit these as each month comes along. So here's my year of the devil. I calculated my card for the year. It's the year of the devil. So this is really interesting. I was like, I'm done with shadow work. I'm not doing shadow work anymore. This damn devil has brought up more in the month of January. So I just feel like it's going to be a lot of shadow work, a lot of like breaking chains, to release myself. It's going to be really interesting. But yeah, there's my number. I can't remember if I did my angel number for the year. And then here is my January page. I also am still doing these cards here. This is by Red Wheel, my sun, my rising, and my moon sign. So I did pull a card from each of those. Aquarius was Shake Your Body, Move, Dance, Get Flowing. That really fit. Gemini, don't get taken advantage of in relationships. And Leo is the desire for closeness. I cannot get over how spot on these simple little cards are. This is really interesting the way this is showing up on a regular basis. I did write down some gratitudes and glimmers. This I just took from a magazine, and I just wrote a couple little things here that brought me delight, which margaritas were one in the month of January. So I wrote that down. I am trying to make my journal into more than just like a bunch of jotted down readings. I mean, that's nice. And I have several other journals that are like that I can go back and then just scroll through and look at the readings. But I wanted it to be something more. So I'm trying to create pages around my readings in that. There was a difficult portion at the beginning of the month, and this taking up space came to mind. And so I did a whole reading around that. But this is her expression, and how she is right here was exactly how I was feeling in the moment. So I went ahead and I pulled this out and created this page. And then I knew this was like part of that devil energy that was coming forward. And so I drew my little devil here on this scrap piece of paper. So I have that in there. Then I did a birthday reading for myself. And then here is my Death Doula card and my Goddess Energy card. If you don't like the F word, don't read this page because it's like everywhere here on this wayfinding page. So I pulled the card wayfinding for the month of January. And in the guidebook, it talked about feeling trapped or blocked, search beyond the familiar. What do you want to be? Visualize the path. What's your goal? So this, I was actually just doodling on a scrap piece of paper that I had laying here on my table. I was looking at this, I was thinking about the card, and I was just doodling this like chain link fence that is here, and then what was beyond there. And then you can like, I don't know if this is a window or you can see like a door here or whatever. So I kind of drew that in here, where even though this fence is here, there's still like that door that's, on the other side. Are you going to get through this fence to get to that door? I don't know. I was having a whole moment. I'm sure you've had them when you've done readings. And to stop dulling your light, which goes all the way back here to this taking up space and this feeling right here. And none of these readings are done at the same time. And when I see them all come together and be this one giant cohesive message, it's like so fascinating and I love it. So for January, I really did enjoy the Death Doula. I didn't get answers necessarily. I just felt like this wayfinding card is bringing up more questions in me. Also links into that devil card energy and everything. And back here to this imagery. And if you even look here in this picture, that was just completely some rando picture I pulled out of a magazine. Look at the coloring in her and her background, and look at the coloring here in the wayfinding card. Now tell me that's not synchronicity. I love it. Okay. So then I also decided to use the Dark Goddess deck and pull a goddess for each month. My goddess for this month is, I think it's Scotty. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. Wild Heart. She's the Norse goddess of winter. Is that not perfect or what? That was not planned. Then also from the guidebook, it was about being your authentic self, remove restrictions, take risks, be fierce. So I did a reading with my Lubanko Tarot in regards to what message this goddess had for me. And then I rolled my little word dice, and it was let be seen. Those were the words that I could make from the dice on the table. And then I got be seen or let myself be seen is what I got from that. And that was a really nice message to have to go along also with that exhaustion and taking up space and being heard in that from the beginning of the month. So let's talk about this, and then I'll talk about other decks that I used throughout the month. So I was watching Lisa Pepez do her wrap up for her year of 2025. But one of the things that Lisa showed that she did in 2025 was she stuffed envelopes for the new moon and the full moon. And I never even thought about doing that. And I have been racking my brain to figure out how I want to bring a moon practice back in. So I started with the January new moon because I'd already missed the full moon when I decided to do this. And I'm using, oh God, let me think of what the decks are. This is the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot. This just sits in the basket below. So I was moving it out of my cupboard to move into the basket below this year anyway. So I thought this is a perfect one to stuff envelopes with. And then I also pulled a card from Yasmin, somebody, from her new moon or her moon manifestations. That's the deck it is. Her moon manifestations deck. I never used this deck. So I thought this is perfect. So I pulled a card from that. And I also pulled a card from Queen of the Moon Oracle by, who is that? Stacy DeMarco. I might be wrong. Don't quote me. But I pulled a card from that too. Now, what else I did is I'm trying to use some of my books also. I got out my Tarot by the Moon book by Victoria Constantino. And this is spreads and spells for every month of the year. So what I did was bibliomancy. I started here in January, and I stuffed all of these on the same day. So I started here in bibliomancy style. I just closed my eyes, ran my hand down, and stopped. So it may be a spread, it may be a ritual, it's just whatever my hand stopped on, and I just wrote the page number down. That's all I did. So 32 is I step into my power, a spell, and I wanted to create a spell on a page for this. So I read through that entry, and it talks about being your most authentic self. It talks about visualizing who you are, the person you are, an empowered version of you, the best version of you, etc. So I'm a water bearer. So I got this image from an old calendar, and I put the water bearer image here. This like sparkle is supposed to like represent my higher consciousness, and this gold, which this is actually a picture of an Emmy that I got out of a magazine. But the way I put it here, holding this sphere, this is like my higher self reaching out. I feel like bringing this information grabbing the information, bringing it back to me. I don't know, something along that line. I also felt that that image was powerful. I felt the water bearer image was powerful. I added in the roses because of the energy of femininity. I wanted that in here. Also, I also wanted it to represent like an idea of growth with the little roses that were here. Here's my little white candle. I don't know if you can see. I pulled this image. Everything I just ripped out of pages of catalogs, calendars, whatever, and created this collage that is actually a spell for empowerment, and wrote it all here. I'm thrilled with this page. This page excites me more than anything. And it was a fantastic exercise to do. And it was all because I decided to stuff an envelope full of some cards and then did some bibliomancy here with this book. So it was really this was a really enriching practice. Okay, so I spent a month using the Lubanko Mass Market Edition, and I'm going to say right out, I love this deck. I said when I bought the deck, I was encouraged to purchase it because I was hesitant. I didn't know if it would be for me. I didn't know how I would get along with it and so on. And this deck is powerful, and this deck is, for me personally, really gets into the grit of what is going on in my life. I used it for all kinds of different readings. I like the cardstock. I will say I'm a little bit rough when I shuffle. Obviously, I've been a card, but there is a little bit of chipping on the gilding. Not bothered by it. That's fine. So I thoroughly enjoy this deck, and I can see this deck. I gotta watch what I put down here. I can see this deck being a long-standing favorite. I can also see this deck being used in shadow work for myself. I could see this deck being used in many different ways. This deck for me feels like it's going to be an all-rounder, kind of like my Light Seers is that I talked about that. I don't see it fitting into any like just specific niche or a specific type of reading. I did everything with this, all kinds of just like quick 1-card pulls. I did 3-card. I did my big birthday reading, with this. And there was nothing I was confused about. I thoroughly enjoyed the guidebook too, because I will look at the guidebook when I'm reading for myself. And I really wanted to see what the creator had to say about these choices of the imagery that they put into these cards. So that's why I went to the guidebook when using this. And just these right here is a perfect example. I really leaned into the coloring for some reason on this card too. The Hangman, we got the 4 of Wands and the Knight of Cups, where the black is showing up. It's like, even though this is the Knight of Cups, it almost looks like he's riding into this black space, which I found interesting here when you've got that same black space in the background here for the Hangman. I don't know. It was, it gave me a lot to think about, to contemplate over, when I had these cards in front of me, especially if I had more than 3, I think, what was my birthday reading? Like 7 or 8 cards that I had out on the table. But I really enjoyed this. I would recommend this deck to anybody who doesn't have it. I don't have any problem with this cardstock either. I don't know if someone was saying they didn't care for the mass market cardstock, but I didn't have any issues shuffling it. I think it shuffles really well. It's nice and bendy and has a nice riffle to it. So this is a favorite and is definitely going to be a staple in my practice. So the other couple decks that I use that I'm going to briefly talk about is the Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron Reed, the Real Talk Tarot. It says illustrated by Juanita Lindano Cavaria. This is put out by Epic Ink. I think this might be out of print. And then My Little Oracle that I already showed when I was doing my tarot reset. So in case you didn't watch any of those videos, this little deck I made many, many, many years ago. I just took pictures that I found, books, magazines, whatever I wanted. I put them. This is actually playing cards. That's what I used. And I covered the back with some scrapbook paper, cut the images down, and I put words on them. And then I laminated them, which has made them hold up as far as like shuffling goes. But at the same time, it also made the deck super, super thick. And I did some readings for others. With this pairing right here. And I really did enjoy the way these three decks spoke to one another. I'm still on the fence about how I feel about the Colette Baron Reed Oracle of the Seven Energies deck. I don't know. I'm still not blown away by it. It's fine for, what it is. But again, I like some of her other decks better. And I don't know what inspired me to pull these out and use them. I love my Real Talk Tarot. I have not used this deck in probably 2 years or so. So to pull this one back out and use it was really fun because it is one that I enjoy using. And it went well with the Colette messages. So I don't know, but yeah, I still feel that some of her other decks hit me in a better space than this one does. So this was a pairing or three decks that I paired together that enjoyed doing readings with them. And this pair right here, I'll be doing weekly energy readings over on my reading channel. I used these three. So if you want to see how they work together, you could check that out. So that is it, I think. And I've probably forgotten something, but oh well. I'm wrapping this video up. So share with me in the comments below, what are you using in your practice, or what did you use in your practice in the month of January? Share with me about your moon readings, how you're doing them, how long you stretch that reading out. Is it just like new moon to new moon, or new moon to full moon, or how you're working through those readings? And what decks in that you use. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to do all the YouTube things, like and subscribe and all that other good stuff. And until I see you next time, bye.